Hi everyone, it's Melissa, and today I am sharing with you my reading plans for the TBR Clearout Readathon hosted by Katie from Books and Things. This is a readathon that encourages us to pick up some books that may have been sitting on our shelves for a while. I love this idea because reading what I own has been an ongoing project for me for the last 3 years at least, and I've made good headway, and I'm still working on not eliminating my physical TBR, but getting it to a point that is more manageable for me for my reading speed and also for the amount of books I like to have on hand. The readathon has already started. It starts today. I'm filming this on April 1st, but I still wanted to take some time to put this out there. I normally don't make TBRs anymore, or at least I don't make monthly TBRs anymore. However, I will make exception for certain readathons that I'm really excited about, and sometimes having a reading plan for those readathons can help spur me along in taking part, which I really enjoy doing. I love readathons. So here is my TBR / probably more like a pile of possibilities for the TBR Clearout Readathon. So Katie has set 7 potential challenges. 6 of them are choosing books, and the first one is just to set your own TBR Clearout goal. So I am going to choose a book for each of the other 6 prompts. So that's 6 potential books, but to set my own goal, just knowing where I've been in my life lately and how much time I have had to read, I am going to say that I want to finish 3 out of these 6 books. So that's my goal, is to read 3 books for this readathon. If I manage more than that, I will be very happy, but I think 3 is realistic considering how this year has been going for me and how busy I have been the last month especially. Now on to the books. So the second challenge is to read a book that has been on your TBR for a very long time. And for this, I have to choose this book for a few reasons. This is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. So first of all, I have been meaning to read this for years and years and years. I have owned this copy for probably 5 years. But the fact that this has been on my shelf for a long time is not the only reason I want to read this book. The other reason is because I thought I had already read this. I was convinced that I had read Little Women back in middle school. I remember reading it. But then when I was adding books to a list or something, I don't know if it was Goodreads or whatever it was, I realized when I found the cover of the book that I had read, I had never read Little Women at all. Well, okay, I had read a version of it. It was a children's classic, abridged version. And I don't even want to say abridged because I don't think it was technically an abridged work. I think it was literally rewritten, almost like a summary of the book with pictures and things, and included very little of Alcott's actual writing. And so when I found out that I in fact have never read this book, that has just spurred me on more to pick it up. You can see there's already a bookmark in this book. I in fact started this at the end of 2024, around Christmas, and I set it aside. I can't remember why, and then I picked up some other books, and I've just told myself I have to focus on finishing this book. I have been hugely enjoying it, but I just got distracted and didn't pick it up again. I have since picked it up again. I actually started reading it again at the end of March, so I've made a little bit more headway. I'm about a third of the way through. So this is priority number 1. If I read no other books off of this list, I want to read Little Women. That was kind of a long-winded answer, so we'll make the rest of these much shorter. The third challenge is to read a book that has been on your TBR for a very short time. And for this, I'm choosing This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amal, El-Mohtar, and Max Gladstone. This is a time travel novel. It is one of the newest books on my shelf. It's technically not mine. I bought it for my husband because he really likes sci-fi. He's read it, but I am also interested to read this book. So this is, yeah, like I said, one of the newer books in our house. And so I'm counting that as being on my physical shelf as well because I am also interested in reading it. So that's book number 2. The third challenge is to read one of the longest books on your TBR. And for that, I am choosing The Blind Assassin by Margaret Atwood. I have to read this for my book club anyway, so I'm choosing to read it now. It is not the longest on my shelves. Bleak House is longer. I think A Brief History of 7 Killings is longer, but this is definitely on the long side. I think it's probably around 600 and some odd pages. And like I said, I have to read it for my book club anyway. So this is what I'm choosing for one of the longest books on my shelf. Challenge number 5 is, have you guessed it, read one of the shortest books on your shelf. And for this, I chose Joseph Heller's Portrait of an Artist as an Old Man. Please ignore that 50% off sticker. It's not going to come off. This hasn't been on my radar for a long time. It's been on my shelf for a long time, but I just kind of forgot that I had this until I was looking for a book that was short to fulfill this challenge. And I would like to read this still. I'm still interested in it. So this is, from what I can gather, a semi-autobiographical work. This book is about an author, and it's about like the struggles, I guess, of writing something else that lives up to that book. At least that's the sense that I get from the description. So this obviously echoes Joseph Heller's own experience, I'm assuming, writing Catch-22, which is the only Joseph Heller book I read, which I absolutely love. Even though it's not one of my all-time favorite books, the actual process of reading it and the experience of reading it is one of my favorite reading memories or reading experiences of all time. Maybe I might make a whole video on Catch-22, we'll see. But I would like to read this just to kind of get some of his thoughts on how he feels about having penned that book, even though this is fiction and about a fictional author. Obviously, this is very much from his life. So I am still interested in reading that, even though I kind of forgot that we had it. Challenge number 6 is to read a book from your TBR that you fear you have lost interest in. For this, I have chosen Tinker, Tailor, Soldier, Spy by John. I always pronounce it Le Carré, but I think it might be Le Carré. I don't know. Anyhow, this is a spy novel. I bought it, and it's on my list because of great things I've heard about it. But as it has sat wallowing on my shelves, I am afraid that I am just not interested in spy narratives. I'm not sure whether I am or not because honestly, I can't remember ever having read a spy novel. So I should probably give it a shot, but just that topic, I guess, doesn't particularly interest me. So I haven't lost all interest in this, but I feel like if I don't read it within the next few months, I probably am going to lose interest altogether. So that's why this is my choice for that challenge. And finally, challenge number 7 is to read a book from your TBR that you are very excited to get to. And I've also started this one as well. This is Terry Pratchett's Wyrd Sisters. This is book number, oh gosh, probably 5 or 6 in the Discworld series. It's number 6 in the Discworld series, and it's the second book in the Witches sub-series. I'm reading the Discworld series in order of publication. You don't have to. This is a series that very much you can kind of read it in whatever order you want to. They all kind of stand alone from what I understand, except for the first 2. Those are the only 2 I'm aware of that the second is a direct sequel of the first. I just love the Discworld series. I love Terry Pratchett's writing, and I'm just so in the mood for something a little bit light and funny, but still very smart. And yes, I did start this. I was away for a couple days, and I didn't want to lug my big hardcover of Little Women, which I was in the middle of reading. So I brought this smaller book with me instead and read a few pages. And now I'm having to force myself to put it aside so I can finish my other reading, and then I'll get back to this one because it's just great. I just love the Discworld series. So those are my very loose reading plans for the TBR Clearout Readathon. If you've read any of these books and you have thoughts, please share them in the comments below. I'd love to have a chat with you. As always, thank you all for watching, and we'll chat soon. Take care. Bye.